From Red Zone Weather in Bruton, Alabama, with meteorologist Spinks Megginson. A severe weather update starts right now.
Severe storms possible across much of the Deep South as we get into your Friday. We have a level 3 out of 5 enhanced severe weather risk for much of North Mississippi and Northwest Alabama, in addition to a level 2 risk for much of Southeast Mississippi, Southwest Alabama, and all of Northwest Florida. I hope you're having a nice Thursday evening. I'm meteorologist Spinks Megginson. We appreciate you tuning in. The forecast has changed a little bit. You remember yesterday we talked about the level 3 risk being in place across much of Georgia, the Carolinas, extending into East Alabama. That is now off the board. The risk is a bit lower for those areas, but the risk has now increased for areas to our north, across parts of North Mississippi and Northwest Alabama. Here's the risk for our local area. It is a solid level 2 out of 5, the standard slight severe weather risk. And that means we do have a bit more uncertainty involved in the forecast as we get into Friday. There's a chance that some areas may not see any severe weather at all, specifically across the southern half of Alabama and Northwest Florida, where the combination of atmospheric ingredients that support severe weather just may not come together as well as it does in places to our north. And that's a good thing for our local area. That kind of works to our advantage to hopefully limit development of a few tornadoes and damaging straight line winds that remain possible. Just because the risk is a bit lower does not mean that it's zero. Here's how it may happen. This is off the projected radar, off the high resolution rapid refresh model, and we are expecting a line of thunderstorms to develop in the morning across parts of North Mississippi. How far south that line develops remains to be seen, but even across our local area, maybe a few tornadoes and damaging straight line winds being possible through the early afternoon hours. The good news is by the time we go to sleep tomorrow night, this system will be long gone to our east. So we are not expecting severe weather issues tonight in the overnight hours or tomorrow night after sunset. Just not going to happen. And that's a good thing. After that big severe weather event that we had earlier in the week, this system is going to happen in the daytime. And even if we get a few tornadoes and damaging straight line winds across our local area, probably going to happen between, say, 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. That's kind of the core window for our local area here in South Alabama and Northwest Florida. So by 8 a.m., maybe a few showers and thunderstorms popping up across the local area. By 11 o'clock, some of these thunderstorms may be severe. It's not a guarantee, and there is a chance that many areas across our region may not have any severe weather issues tomorrow. But there also is a chance on the higher end of the spectrum of possibilities tomorrow, we may see a few tornadoes and damaging straight line winds and maybe even large hail as this complex of storms moves by. Another thing that's going to be different about this particular event is that we won't see nearly as much rain as we saw earlier in the week. These storms are probably going to be much more scattered in nature, and so there's a chance that some communities may not get much rain at all. On the flip side, some of you may pick up around an inch of rain in total before all is said and done. So a level 2 out of 5 severe weather risk for tomorrow, Friday. Here's the timing. Back in Mississippi, 4 a.m. to 1 a.m., and that's kind of an estimate that may be kind of pushing storms a bit too early. I think the daytime hours, even over southeast Mississippi, probably going to be the core time frame. So after sunrise for pretty much everyone on this map. For our local area, 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. going to be the time frame when strong to severe thunderstorms become most likely. I expect to be able to give everyone an all clear by 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. And then, of course, in southeast Alabama and the Florida Panhandle, storms will be exiting off to the east a bit later. The tornado risk remains low-ish, but not zero. It's certainly not a zero risk, but at the same time, the tornado risk is not as high as it was earlier in the week when we saw a few tornadoes across our region. Damaging straight line winds also in the level 2 out of 5 category across our local area, in addition to a lower end risk of large hail in excess of quarter size. So probably not going to have a a significant hail issue, we are more concerned about damaging straight-line winds and maybe a few tornadoes region-wide. That's why we have this level 2 out of 5 severe weather risk. And so looking at the risk levels, tornadoes, damaging straight-line winds, maybe an isolated instance or two of flash flooding, could have some power outages if we get storms producing damaging straight-line winds or a tornado or two. The risk is lower than the event earlier in the week. And of course, lightning will be possible in all of the storms tomorrow, even the ones that are under severe limits. And so looking at the ingredients, better instability to the south, better shear farther to the north. It's a classic cold season severe weather event. And across our region, we are going to see enough surface-based instability to support a few severe thunderstorms. Let's zoom in and I'll show you some of the values. Going to see surface-based capes start to increase first at the coast as a warm front moves to the north as we get towards 7 a.m. By noon, going to have values in excess of 1,000 joules per kilogram. And so anything above really, say, 400 is supportive of stronger to severe storms. And so certainly going to have enough instability at least to support a few strong storms tomorrow. Better or higher shear values going to happen farther to the north. This is the low-level jet. And just like what happened earlier in the week, those higher values are where we see an enhanced risk of damaging straight-line winds up here in North Mississippi and Northwest Alabama. Those, by the way, were not surface values. Those were the values at about 5,000 feet above ground level. And these numbers are high, but they're not as high as what we saw earlier in the week. Here's another metric that I haven't showed you. This is called storm relative helicity. Helicity means veering or changing of the wind with height as you go up in the atmosphere. And it does look like those helicity values going to be a bit higher in areas to our north. So hopefully that will kind of inhibit tornado development across our local area. Even away from the thunderstorms, similar to what happened earlier in the week, we have a wind advisory in effect for all local counties. No matter where you are, you're under a wind advisory, meaning 25 to 35 mile per hour winds will be possible away from the thunderstorms tomorrow. Now, let's look at the 7-day forecast because some folks have been asking me about Monday. Could we have snow and ice? Probably not. It looks like precip going to exit, in other words, rain going to exit ahead of the very cold air moving in on Monday evening. In fact, we will have temperatures for highs, yes, highs in the 30s by the time we get to Tuesday. Look at that overnight low for Wednesday morning, around 18 degrees. But it looks like the combination of cold air and precipitation just is not going to be there to support snow or mixed precip on Monday night as that system kicks out. I think in the daytime hours of Monday, temperature is simply going to be too warm. And then most likely what happens is rain kicks out of here around, say, 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night on Monday. And then the cooler air, or I say cooler, much colder air moves in later on in the evening. Now, I will say some of the model runs have indicated there may be a brief overlap across parts of West Alabama. And we'll look at that in detail in the morning video. But first, we've got to get through this. It's a level 2 out of 5 severe weather risk setting up for tomorrow, Friday. This is not going to be most likely a major tornado outbreak, but even if 1 or 2 tornadoes happens tomorrow, it's still a big deal, because if a tornado affects you, it's a big deal. So just have a way to hear urgent weather warnings, no matter what color risk level you're in. We have a severe weather risk across the Deep South tomorrow. We'll have plenty of updates as needed in the Red Zone Weather app. And of course, if tornado warnings become required for Southwest Alabama or Northwest Florida, we'll come on Facebook Live and bring you the very latest. On behalf of all of us at Red Zone Group LLC, I'm meteorologist Spinks Megginson saying goodbye for now. I do hope you have a wonderful Thursday evening. Let me know if you have specific questions in the comments below, and I'll try to get to those in just a little bit. Hope you have a wonderful Thursday evening. Next video by 7:15 a.m.
Be sure to find us across social media, and don't forget to download the free Red Zone Weather app and set up your customized alerts. Please support our Red Zone weather sponsors who make our coverage possible every single day.